Hello and welcome to Manga 96, and today we are going to talk about the world's finest assassin gets reincarnated into a different world as an aristocrat. This is one of the better anime series this season, which is saying something considering how packed with good anime this season is. While it's true that it doesn't have anything to set it apart from most isekais, a part of its main character's first life, which arguably would make for a more interesting story than the story of his second life in a world of swords and magic, where the story is well executed with a good cast of characters, which makes this an enjoyable watch or read depending on what you prefer. This series won't leave a lasting impression like a little known series called Redo of a Healer, which was written by the same guy, but this series is enjoyable for what it's worth, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. That is why in this video I will cover the assassin team that Lugh made, as they are a large part as to why this series is enjoyable as it is. But before we start, here's the spoiler warning, as I will be spoiling a lot of things in this video, so if you don't want to be spoiled, I would highly recommend that you go and read the light novel, as it is an enjoyable read. For everyone else, let's start with a twin-tailed maid who went through big character development. Tarte is Lugh's personal maid, assassin assistant, and she has a well-known epithet as being the Electric War Maiden due to her fighting style. She's extremely loyal and loving to Lugh, as he was the one who saved her from the brink of death. She further felt indebted and indebted to him, as he was the first person to ever tell her he needed her and provided her so much happiness. When she suffers from occasional nightmares, Lugh allows her to sleep with him. Despite seemingly overcoming them a long ago, they still sleep together often. She is also ambitious and competitive, especially when it comes to Lugh's affection and cooking. Her cooking skills were described to be on par with or even better than the chefs of a noble. When Lugh likes any particular food, she is quick to rush and learn the recipe. As she has previously trained under the Tarte to become Lugh's assistant, she always feels the need to help him, even when facing the possibility of death. Whenever someone from outside Tarte insults or talks ill about Lugh, she will be unable to hide her killing intent. Tarte is fully capable of performing various forms of torture to extract information, as well as restrict people from committing suicide. She becomes more and more confident throughout the series as Lugh encourages her to be more upfront about her feelings. She is usually shy and tucked room during public gatherings and will do anything that Lugh asks of her. On one occasion, she tried to get Lugh to teach her sexual exploitation of people under the guise of being an assassin and his personal servant under the behest of Lugh's mother, where, after Lugh told her that he vehemently abhorred the notion of her sleeping with someone else, she promises to never do it and asks if she could do it as his servant. She can also be cunning, as she will steal kisses from Lugh to replenish her mana despite having more than necessary. She has a good education and good manners, which she learned from her experience as Lugh's retainer. Tarte is incredibly intelligent, as her academic scores was 6th among first-year students comprised of many nobles with special education. The written portion tested on Albanian history and laws, cognitive ability and mathematics. Although she carries herself with dignity, she can get careless and flustered easily whenever Lugh or the other fiancés tease her. As for her past, being frail and weak, she was abandoned by her family as they couldn't afford to feed her. Knowing about the wealth of the House of the Two and having a dream from a certain goddess about her destiny, she headed towards the territory. Lugh came across her in the woods, and after realizing that she harbors magic, he then gave her food and offered her to hire her, saying that he needed her. This causes her to cry and tearfully accept. From then on, she took her training and education seriously, so as to not bring shame to the name of her savior. Tarte successfully became a mate in Lugh's family and his personal assassin assistant. He admitted himself that there is no one else more suited to be his right-hand man or woman and bodyguard than her. As for her relationship with Lugh, she is his fiancée. Initially, her relationship with him was a one-sided love, as his heart was already captured by Dia. She will tearfully cry whenever Lugh went to a brothel to relieve himself of pressure, with Maha remarking that Tarte would have been more than willing to help him. Their relationship gradually improves as Dia accepts her and encourages their relationship to foster more since both of them were unwilling to take the next step. At the end of Volume 3, Tarte requested Lugh to give her a proper kiss instead of their normal mana-replenishing kiss, to which Lugh gratefully accepts, thereby accepting her feelings. Moving on to Maha, she is the proxy representative for Lugh's cosmetic brand and provides logistical support by collecting funds and information for him. She has many connections with the upper class and is very famous for her role. Maha is an orphan who was taken in by Lugh while he was in Milteo. She was physically abused in the orphanage and became deeply distrustful of people. This was further amplified when her father's final advice to her was to not trust anyone easily unless she knew enough about them to make a judgment. Start from familial love due to the death and murder of both her parents orchestrated by her father's right-hand man, she was constantly seeking someone to trust and save her from the terrible situation. That was where she first met her Prince Charming Lugh, disguised as Illig Balor. She was immediately captivated by the looks and the warm smile shown by her savior when they first met. Despite initially wanting Lugh to save the other orphans before herself, after he walked up to her and told her he needed her, she immediately agreed to follow him. After being kidnapped and almost defiled by her captors, Lugh saved her in the nick of time and punished them severely. From then on, she wanted to ingrate herself for him and strove to meet his expectations. To keep up image, she calls Lugh by the endearing name Big Brother, despite not being related by blood. He initially viewed her as a tool to be manipulated, but after spending many years bonding and planting a deep and strong affection and loyalty for one another, their relationship overcame the boundaries of normal affection. She often competes with Tarte for Lugh's affection and will make full use of whatever limited time she has with him. Unlike Tarte, she is more proactive and will plan their dates, which Lugh admits that is a good change of pace. Lugh admits that whenever someone flirts or becomes too close to her, he himself will become deeply jealous and will drastically affect his mood negatively, confessing that he has never felt this way in both of his lifetimes. Both of them are extremely perceptive and will use any chance they can to get to tease one another. Maha is very upfront about her feelings for Lugh, but warns him that if he didn't keep her close, she might run away. This causes him to reflect deeply and acknowledge that she is someone important to him that he doesn't want anyone else to have. She once rejected the proposal of Lugh's/Illig's brother, Berud Balor, without hesitation, despite knowing of the numerous benefits it would have brought to her: riches, fame, power, getting back her father's company, and so on. She told Lugh was also present that I am yours, which taught him not to take Maha for granted. She can also be bashful at times when her teasing comes to fruition, such as when Lugh actually kissed her just to see her frightening expression. Maha is extremely capable and hardworking as well. Despite being tasked with delegating, organizing and spearheading many projects at once while alone, she could still give a detailed report to Lugh of whenever he asked at short notice, even if the topic is unrelated or complicated. She is also very supportive of his relationship with his other two fiancés and will reprimand him when he doesn't show them enough attention. As for her past, Maha is the daughter of a successful merchant and had received a good level of education, where she became an orphan when her parents were killed by a group of thieves while on their way to a business meeting. Her father's right-hand man offered to take care of Maha, where she investigated the man and learned that he was the one orchestrating her parents' murder and planned to kill her next to take over her father's company. She decided to run away and hid in the city of Militeo. In order to make a living, she employed children from the slums and used her knowledge as a merchant to run a small but successful business by guiding tourists in town or selling ice and firewood. Unfortunately, everything went south when the count's wife decided to invest large sums of money into aiding orphans, leading to numerous orphanages being built and her group of orphans to be captured and thrown into them. During her stay in the orphanage, she was often abused and became distrustful of other people. Sensing magical power from her, Lugh decided to adopt her and train her to become a loyal servant in his assassin team. He has also taught her many advanced subjects such as physics, psychology and numerous others related to assassination and daily life which she makes good use and implements of. As for her relationship with Lugh, Lugh admits that to anyone, Maha was the only one capable of having him around her thumb, admitting she was the best, though not elaborating in any way. Her appearance and demeanor is the most womanlike out of his fiancés. After the son of Balor proposed to her and asked for Lugh's blessing, he uncharacteristically got jealous. Noticing his subtle change, Maha rejected the proposal despite potentially being the most influential and the richest woman in the world and getting back her father's company. In Volume 3, she warned him that if he doesn't keep her close, she might run away. Fearing such a dreadful possibility, he asked if there was any way that he could avoid it. Cheekily, she told him that there was only one way of tying down a woman, to which he quickly changed the subject. Having her feel, she continues by saying that she is a patient woman, though she won't wait forever, which Lugh took her warning to heart. And lastly, moving on to Dia. Dia Viekone is a noble from a foreign country and one of the strongest mages alive. She has a profound interest in magic. Dia was impressed by Lugh's skill with magic. Learning that they can create new magic, she started to get interested in magic even more until new magic creation deepened the bond between her and Lugh. During the short stay with him, she would often feel lonely and would come to his bed and use him as a pillow to fall asleep. Initially, she was envisioned to be a virtuous girl, but her father was shocked when she ran and hugged Lugh after he saved her, remarking that he was astonished to see her heart was already stolen. As a beautiful girl, she has received multitudes amounts of proposals which she rejected and added that it disgusts her to even look at them. After being adopted to the Duta family as Lugh's little sister, she was downcasted when she might not be able to marry Lugh, but was pleasantly surprised that their family accepted that siblings could be engaged. Although she was happy, she had to wrap her mind around the concept. Dia is subjective and open-minded, as she knew that as a noble it was expected that Lugh would take up mistresses. However, she made it abundantly clear that she would only accept Tarte and Maha, otherwise she would become upset. She is confident in being Lugh's number one, and thus she openly encourages and teases Tarte to be more confident in her endeavors. Dia can also be considered to be a bit spoiled. After being raised as a noble, her sense of what is appropriate is drastically different from the common people. For instance, she would use her personal S-class dorm in school as a place for collection, which causes Lugh to understand that she is adapted to living in a castle. However, it was also an excuse to keep a watchful eye on Lugh and Tarte, as she didn't want Tarte having a head start on her. As for her relationship with Lugh, she is Lugh's main love interest throughout the series. Nonetheless, she is not too possessive of him and allows him to have a few mistresses, although she does not want other girls to make a move on him before she does, as shown when she finds out that Lugh had already kissed Tarte many times, even though it was for healing. Due to her close relationship with the other fiancés, she actively supports his relationship but will still get jealous and lonely from time to time. In Volume 3, she had her first time with Lugh in a hotel in Miltio. With this, I covered everything that I wanted to cover in this video on Lugh's assassin team. And that will be all for this video. If you like this video, leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments below, or subscribe to the channel for more manga reviews and One Piece content. And until next time, take care.